You can't prove your citizenship if due process doesn't exist. That is my point. There is no citizen and non-citizen if there is no due process. Your citizenship is now entirely in the hands of the person who's apprehending you. That's how this works. A Maryland man with protected legal status was sent to the notorious prison in El Salvador following an administrative error. A U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement official admitted in a sworn declaration on Monday. Let's take a look.
I trust our intelligence agencies and the intelligence individuals that are within the Department of Homeland Security, that the individuals who are there are members of this organization and have worked with them. And while we were there at that prison, we not only talked about how to identify these members of these terrorist organizations, but what they did, their actions they took, the case files we built on them, and how we verified that those individuals should be there in that prison. I am very confident in the fact that those individuals that are there should be there. And that by belonging to these organizations, they were choosing to be on the side that wanted to destroy the United States of America.
Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem expressing confidence that her agency is only removing criminals from the U.S. On Sunday night, 17 additional men were deported to a notorious prison in El Salvador. According to Secretary of State Marco Rubio, the U.S. military only transported violent criminals, including murderers and rapists with gang affiliations. El Salvador's president posted another video yesterday showing the men in restraints as they were let off a U.S. Air Force plane. According to a senior State Department official, 7 of the men are Venezuelan citizens, while the other 10 are citizens of El Salvador. Meanwhile, the Trump administration acknowledged in a court filing yesterday it inadvertently deported a Maryland man to El Salvador because of an administrative error, but that U.S. courts are...
Now, he's not the only person. He's not the only person that has been deported that did not deserve this deportation. He's just the only person that ICE has taken responsibility over so far. Even though ICE has taken responsibility and then doubled down and said, sorry, nothing we can do about it. No way to bring him back. Now, what is completely psychotic about every part of this process is, ironically enough, if these deportations that are being done without due process were conducted with due process, that person would not be trapped in a slave labor prison in El Salvador right now. That's kind of the whole point of my argument that I have been talking about nonstop. And I don't think people understand how devastating this is. No amount of Cory Booker filibustering is going to change this reality. The Democrats need to take stronger action than this. This is changing the very fabric of American society. This is the most pressing issue with this administration. I need you to understand this. It is more important than the tariffs. It is more important than Doge layoffs. It's more important than fucking Elon Musk being annoying. This is the number one issue. This is not even just about immigrants. This is about eroding an incredibly important part of the judicial structure in this country. This is the number one issue with this administration, if I were to rank them. And before people go, oh, is it more important than Gaza? Ironically enough, it touches on the situation in Gaza as well. When due process is eroded, nothing else matters. They can just kidnap you and put you through the system without any sort of recognition or any care or consideration because you have no defense. Anyone and everyone will be harmed by this.
Powerless to order his return. Kilmar Abrego Garcia is a Salvadorian national who came to the U.S. at the age of 16 in 2011 after fleeing gang threats in his native land. According to Politico, he was deemed by an immigration judge in 2019 to be a likely member of the MS-13 gang, a decision he sharply contested and that the government credited to information.
Yeah, except guess what? That was a claim made by another prisoner, okay? And guess what? The judge found that the claim was erroneous. It was made up. As in, he was able to contest successfully a false claim that was made against him in a court of law when there was fucking due process. For those of you who at this point still don't know what due process is, I'm going to tell you. The Fifth Amendment says to the federal government that no one shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of the law. The 14th Amendment, ratified in 1868, uses the same 11 words called due process clause to describe a legal obligation of all states. These words have as their central promise an assurance that all levels of American government must operate within the law, legality, and provide fair procedures. Most of this article concerns that promise. We should briefly know, however, 3 other uses of that word have had in American constitutional law. The Fifth Amendment's reference to due process is only one of many promises of protection the Bill of Rights gives citizens against the federal government. Okay, it's there to protect you from the government, from government overreach. That's what the Constitution does. Even all the way back in the fucking 13th century, there is some kind of legal work being conducted because every man has a right to a fair trial. Because without that, you can just go up to a random person and say, I am a law enforcement officer, and I have declared you to be engaging in illegal acts. I do not have to prove any of those things. I can simply claim you did so, and you have no recourse. I am now kidnapping you, I am putting you in jail, and I am deporting you. In that process, you have no way of going, no, I'm an American citizen. No, I am innocent. Nothing. That's what that fucking means. It's insane. And that's precisely what's going on. And it's shocking to me that Americans can't recognize this and think, as a matter of fact, that non-citizens shouldn't get this procedure. It is quite literally what happened in the witch trials. Due process at the heart of innocent until proven guilty. You have to be able to prove your innocence. If you can't, then everyone is guilty. Because guess what? If due process does not exist in this country, and currently as it stands, the Trump administration is actively eroding this constitutionally protected right that everyone has, then all of us are non-citizens. You understand? Every single person in this chat, no matter how fucking white or rich you are no longer a citizen. You are a terrorist. It is entirely up to the person that brands you as a terrorist. If you think it won't harm you, you are wrong. Giving this unimaginable amount of power to a bunch of fucking psychos is insane. Conservatives know this, but they think constitutional rights are only reserved for citizens and non-citizens are exempted. It doesn't matter. Because you can't prove your citizenship if due process doesn't exist. That is my point. There is no citizen and non-citizen if there is no due process. Your citizenship is now entirely in the hands of the person who's apprehending you. That's how this works.